Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in to Ray of Hope, the podcast. I am your host, Dr. Raya White, the CEO and founder of Raya's 𝙻𝚒𝚏𝚎 Foundation, and I am joined by my sister friend, Nurse Leslie Alexander London.
Hello.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Yes.
So for this episode, we are going to be talking about coping with life's stressful moments. So if you tuned into the last episode, we were talking about how life happens. And so now we just want to dive in a little bit deeper into how we actually can cope when life happens and you have those unexpected stressors in your life. So for starters, we're going to start with spirituality because that is the basis for mental health and healing internally. So I know for me, spirituality is here and everything else is just up under it. So spirituality is my umbrella.
Yes.
There is no me, there is no existence, there is no living and functioning day to day without starting my day off with a prayer and ending my day with a prayer. So whoever it is that you pray to, your higher being, you need to connect spiritually. You need to make sure that it is at the forefront of your mental health and your healing. So what about you? I know we both listen to a lot of gospel music. We like to fill our minds with positive music, positive thoughts, positive poems and readings, and we like to watch positive things and what we put into our heads. So what about you?
Yeah, I would have to agree. My spirituality is everything. I'm like you. I wake up in the morning, I'm touching my husband, praying over him. I got 2 little puppies and I'm cuddling them and I'm praying that they, have a good day and they don't try to bite each other's ear off, and my daughter, and making sure that she's having a good day too, but also within myself. I'm constantly listening for God's voice. And just really doing my best to stay in tune and connected with what he has for me for that day. Especially if I have a life happens moment. I'm really like, I just kind of shut everything down and I'm just like, all right, what we doing, Lord? What we doing? Let me listen. Let me be quiet. And I do listen to gospel music. I love sending people the music that I listen to, hoping that it bless them as it's blessing me. So spirituality and coping with those life happen moments, I would definitely have to say that is the foundation for me as well.
Yeah. I know when I worked in drug rehabilitation and detox, that was one of the things that they taught in the 12-step program, was to find your spiritual connection, your spiritual being, and put that at the forefront, because that's where you get your strength from. Once you're able to connect, once you're able to pray, once you're able to find something to live for, it helps you to find your purpose.
Yeah.
And when you find your purpose, it helps you to go through life a little bit easier. It's never 100% easy for anybody, but when you have that higher being that you can pray to, that you can turn to, that you can lean on, then it makes it easier. But you touched on a point that is so near and dear to my heart, and that is listening. Because we can pray, people meditate, but if you don't take time out to be still and to be quiet and hear God's discernment over your life, then you may miss something. And sometimes we tend to get ahead of ourselves, and that causes us to be anxious. When you become anxious, you're not functioning mentally the way that you could.
Yeah, you're missing it.
You have to take time out to listen. You have to hear his voice. I know for me, I pray to 𝚑 and Yahshua, and I take time out of my day in the middle of my day. I never want to be too busy to pray and to give thanks.
Yes.
So in the middle of the afternoon, at my busiest moment, I'm doing all this work. I just turn off everything, stop what I'm doing, and I give thanks. And I pray. Because I want to let my spiritual connection know that there is nothing that comes before you, and I'm never too busy to reach out to you to give thanks. So for me, that's how I function day to day. That's how I've made it through all my difficult journeys. That's how I made it to 47 years. That's how I was able to go from a teen mom at 16 to Dr. White. was my spiritual connection. So when I had those people in my ear saying, "You're a statistic," I took time out to pray and listen to God's direction for my life, and he said, "Remember those things you prayed for and that you asked me about. I'm going to help you get there. I'm going to turn that bad into something good for you." And so my spiritual connection is everything that you see that I am today. It's not me. It's him. And so that's important that you find that first step, that spiritual connection, and you start to bring it to fruition.
Yeah.
And you start to manifest that.
Absolutely.
Through
That's
him.
the word. Ooh, that word right there, manifestation.
Through him.
That word right there.
Let him work through you. But you got to listen, like Nurse Leslie said. You have to hear him tell you your direction. So I know I was dealing with something, and God always puts people in your life at the time that you need them. And I refer to Nurse Leslie because he placed her in my life at a time where I was fine. I was living my life. I didn't have no friends around. I was just doing me. I was living happy, but I had some things in my past that I wasn't dealing with. And so I was looking for a new home, and I was like, I can afford to live anywhere I want to live. But for some reason, I just kept having these obstacles when I was looking for a home. And Leslie's like, well, maybe it's not your time. Maybe, God got something better for you. Maybe you need to sit back and you need to listen. Okay, Leslie, you've been right so far, so I'm sure you're probably right again. Let me go home and pray about it. And I did. And then I started getting confirmation through songs, through podcasts, spiritual podcasts, through memes. People would put memes on Facebook and Instagram and say, God said, wait. God said it's going to be in his timing. What God got is greater for you than what you want for yourself. God said, don't settle. And he gave me peace.
Good preaching. Girl.
But I had to do two things. I had to listen to Leslie, to the person that God placed in my life to help me along the way. But then I had to hear his voice.
Yes.
And I had to receive his message. And I had to stop working ahead of his schedule and pull myself back. I had to humble myself before the Lord. So.
That's good. You 47, girl?
Girl. You 47 too?
No,
In 2 days.
Next. We digress. I'm sorry.
But God is good.
Yes, he is.
He's good.
He really is. No, but that was some good stuff though. That was good stuff. Yeah, spirituality is, like I said, for me, it's everything. I mean, I there's really nothing else for me to say because I really concur with everything she said, and it is just again staying in tune and listening. And it's funny. I had somebody asked me the other day, how do you know God is talking to you? Because I mentioned to her, like, I listened, like, God is talking to me. She's like, how do you know God's talking to you? And I said, me personally, because everybody has their own connection with God. Right. My connection, I really believe firmly that he talks to us every single day. It's whether or not you hear it. Exactly. Whether or not you pick it up. And so I pray every day that he allows me to hear when he is talking to me so I can catch it. Because I want to do my best to walk and do everything he wants me to do and be that vessel he needs me to be. And so just staying connected to my spiritual side, especially when I'm going through something, is, for me, that's like my foundation and what kind of carries me through when I'm going through them life happening moments. So that was good. That was good.
Yeah. Well, check. So next we want to talk about physical exercise. So Nurse Leslie and I, we met at Zumba. We both love to dance. I think she likes to dance a little bit more than I do because we'll be in a store, she'll break out dancing. We'll be out to dinner, she'll break out dancing. We'll be anywhere, she'll just break out dancing. But we both love dancing.
Yes.
But we also are conscious about our physical health. I know for me personally, I was dealing with some health issues where I was pre-diabetic and then I was type 2 diabetic, and my doctor's like, look, the choice is yours. You can eat right, you can work out, or you can be on medication. And I'm like, ooh. Because we all say we would die for our kids, but how many of us would actually say we would live for our kids?
Oh, say that again.
We all say we would die for our kids. But how many of us would actually live for our kids? And so, again, if you know me, I love my kids. They're 30 and 25, but they can come to mommy for anything and everything. And I have a grandson now, so I wanted to live for my kids.
Absolutely.
And I wanted to live for myself. And so I became more conscious of the things that I did as far as working out and eating right and making sure that I took time out for myself, because I would put everybody else first, including my job. And I, had to go through life learning that your job doesn't care about you. Your job is there for you to make money to pay your bills, but they don't really care about who you are as a person. And so I had to start putting myself first. I had to start making time to go work out. And I had this nurse that worked for me when I was a nurse supervisor. And she said, hey, do you want to go to Zumba? And I'm like, what? No. She's like, you'll like it. But she said, they have reggae. And I'm a big reggae person. I love reggae music. And she was like, no, they have reggae routines and they have hip hop. And I'm like, when she said reggae, I'm like, I'm there. So I went with her and another nurse, and we showed up to the Zumba spot. I'm not going to say no names, so we're not giving no plugs. But I loved it so much that I started going by myself.
Yes.
I would just show up and do the work. Because we always pray for healing, but we don't want to do the work that goes along with healing. So we'll say, God, I want to be healed from diabetes. And I did say that to God. And he said, do the work. You only need to do 2 things. Eat right and work out. Do the work. So that's what I did. And I loved it. And I showed up for myself. And so I bought myself a monthly pass. And I just started going. And then I met a lady. And then I met another lady. And then I met another lady. And then finally, and I had always seen Leslie. And I used to tell Leslie this, like, girl, you are everything. Like, I used to see her, and she had this cute little shape. And she was off to the side. She didn't have a lot of people around her, but a lot of people knew of her and stuff. And we later on connected. If you watch episode 1, you'll know how we connected. So go back and watch that. But we connected, and we had this passion for feeling good about ourselves, whatever that meant. But Zumba was a big part of it.
Yes.
But getting to the medical side of it is when you work out, you release your happy hormones, your endorphins, and you start to feel good about yourself. So the more that you work out, the more you're feeling happy.
Absolutely.
The better that you're sleeping. So I love physical exercise, and I'm getting into this weightlifting now. Lord have mercy. But anyway, enough about me.
Yeah, you said a lot. No.
Oh my God, am I turning into you? Turning into a Nola girl.
Okay. Calm down. No, just funny. No, but that's I felt everything that you said. Excuse me. Exercise was never something that I ever enjoyed doing. Like, who really enjoys? I mean, unless you are, all right, Mo, put your hand down. Unless you are like in those programs where those weightlifting contests. I know out here the Arnold Classic is really big. So the place where we work out now, a lot of people are training for it. And I'm just like always in awe, especially to see women, how they can transform their bodies into this physique where they can compete. And they were just like, 175 pounds, still shapely and cute, but they can drop all of that within 3 weeks. Like, that is so mind-boggling to me
Right.
to see that. But I admire it too, because that shows you their dedication.
Right.
I'm not that dedicated, I'm just saying. But
I can be one day.
I mean, I will. I'm working on it. But exercise, was something that was so therapeutic for me. Like I said in the last podcast, it was so therapeutic for me because I didn't know anybody. And so what started out as something that I didn't really take serious and was just kind of like a pastime for me to get out the house, it became like, I probably should start working on my weight and eating right and eating healthy, and because that's all it all goes with that life happens stuff, right? Because stress plays such a big part on your body. I have a therapist that I see due to some life happen stuff, and she actually told me, we were talking, and she's like, Leslie, statistically, she's like 85% of primary care visits are due to stress. Ooh. She was like, so when people have high blood pressure and diabetes and cholesterol and all these other ailments going on, she was like, a lot of that stems from stress. Some of it is genetics, but a lot of it is stuff that we can probably control if we get that stress under control. Life happens stuff will just throw your body into all kind of crazy stuff because you're dealing with what's happening, but also you're stressing about what's happening. And so even with me, I mean, I had to learn, like, okay, I know I shouldn't eat some things, but coming from the South, I sometimes can't help it. But
crawfish.
Like Ray, oh, I love it. Sorry. But like Raya said, like, it's like the older I'm getting now, I'm starting to realize I have a 16-year-old, and I'm like, they don't call high blood pressure the silent killer for nothing.
Right.
And if you fall into that category and you have kids that you still have to raise, I have looked back and I'm like, am I being selfish because I like to eat all this spicy food? Because it makes me feel good and my body and my palate is satisfied. But what if I overindulge and something happens? I'm not here to see my baby anymore. So I have learned now, just recently, to be honest with you, I'm starting to look at food a little different. I'm starting to kind of get serious about getting back into the realm of working out. I'm being honest and transparent. I'm not there yet. So I'm kind of easing myself back into it. So I'm proud of you even for doing your workout and being steadfast, because you definitely, it's showing. Like,
thank you.
Yeah, you definitely, I definitely can tell. But that is so important, I think. Another coping mechanism is just do things that make you feel happy. And those endorphins want to be released.
Ooh, sitting there.
They're just bottled up. And all you really have to do is dance. Like something simple as dancing will release them. So do things when you're having those life moments and you're trying to figure out how to cope. Sometimes it's not that difficult to find out what you have to do. Your body will sometimes tell you too.
It will tell you.
Take a break, relax. Let's go take a walk. It's pretty outside. You know, listen not to only that spiritual being, but listen to your body too, because that'll help you get through whatever it is your life happens moment and cope with. So that's all I have to add.
Definitely get moving. And have fun doing it. I know I like to dress up.
Excuse me.
When I go work out, I like to look good working out. And excuse me, I had to change that. But I like to look good when I work out. I like to match because it makes me feel that much more better when I'm going to work out. So it's not even a confidence booster. It's just that I feel good about myself when I'm matching, because I'm OCD. And so I like to look good. So whatever you need to do for yourself, just go do it and get moving. Yes. So going right along with that is eating right. And a lot of people don't know that the foods that you eat affect your mental health. Because if you lack vitamin D, that causes depression. And a lot of people are unaware of that. But vitamin D deficiencies are tied to depression and mental health and mental illness. So you want to make sure that you're eliminating sugars and caffeines and increasing your fruits and vegetables, keeping your colon cleansed, because your colon is tied to all the organs in your body. And it causes illness and sickness and all these diseases and mucus built up. But eat right. Feel better about yourself. There are certain foods that you can eat that can give you a mental boost and stimulation, like, with nuts and beans and things like that. So just be a little bit more mindful of the things that you put into your body. Those sugar highs will make you feel energetic for so long, but then once that sugar high wears off, you are down, you're sleepy, you're fatigued, you're drowsy, you don't want to do nothing. You'll go into a sugar coma and really go to sleep. And a lot of people do that during the winter time. So that's the time you want to be even more mindful about what you're putting into your body. But I know for me, when I started my fitness journey, I actually went to the doctors and I got my levels checked. So being in my 40s, I got my hormones checked and I got my vitamin levels and my minerals and all those things checked. And I had a vitamin D deficiency and a vitamin B deficiency. And so I had to make some adjustments in my diet, but I feel so much better, and it's helped my hair be healthy and my nails grow. And I mean, there's just so many benefits with eating healthy, but it helps your mental health in so many ways. Yes. So,
absolutely.
What about you and your foods? Like you said, you're from down south, and they got a lot of salty foods, but you look wonderful.
Thank you.
You know, you're in shape, you're curvaceous, and you always look like you're in shape and healthy. So what is it that you're doing, or what is it that you can do better?
And I think that sometimes is the issue. Excuse me, because people see me and they're like, oh my God, like, you don't have, because I'm always like, oh, I got about 5-10 pounds. They're like, where? I'm like, it's there. You don't see it. I feel it. It's there. So don't always just assume like, oh, you don't need to, excuse me, because and when you have underlying issues, you could be the slimmest, curviest person in the world, but if you're not working on controlling those issues, that will turn into a whole nother monster that you just don't want to deal with. So I am, again, being a little bit more mindful because I've learned now to try to do my best to put my daughter first when I'm thinking about stuff and not be like, so I can't have 10 pounds of crawfish, I only can have 2. You know, I can't have 5 potatoes, I gotta have 1. So I'm really trying, and I'm joking about it, but I'm really being serious because back home, I can't, if you've ever been to New Orleans, you know, we cook so different and we can overindulge a lot of times. Like, it's funny, every year I'm the stuffed pepper person. So I make stuffed peppers, right, for Thanksgiving. And this kind of hit or miss sometimes because they could be too salty, which in my taste bud, I'm like, this is delicious. But everybody else is like, we got to scoop everything out and just eat the pepper because your stuffing is ridiculously salty. But I'm learning, though, and again, I'm being serious. I'm joking, but I'm being serious. I'm learning to not put so much sodium in my food and, like, let people season it the way they want to have it seasoned. Because everybody don't have my taste bud. And, again, if having underlying conditions, I have to start being mindful and really take it serious because I feel like sometimes we get so focused on, oh, I'm taking this pill, and your goal really should be to get off the pill, but you take it because it controls it for you. So you kind of in your mind like, I can still eat what I want because all I gotta do is take my blood pressure medicine that's gonna get everything controlled. And that's, for me, that's not my goal. I want to be able to not have to do things and rely on something else. I want to be able to rely on my own self, my body, what I eat, how I eat, me working out, to be able to control everything and just be more healthier. So that is my eating right part.
Okay. Well, we're going to move right along because we're running out of time here. But the next 2 things we're going to tie in together. So surround yourself with healthy relationships and choose peace. And so for me, surrounding myself with healthy relationships was removing myself from negativity and situations that are not conducive to me living in my purpose or being mentally stable. So any little inkling of an issue and negativity, I immediately remove myself. I just don't have time for it. So I'm gone.
Yeah.
The phone calls will stop. The going out will stop. Everything will just stop because my mental health is my priority. My peace is my priority. I have no desire to be in negative environments. So I choose peace. And I'm always going to choose my mental health because this is something that I had to learn. I'm always going to choose my mental health first. So.
Yeah, that's kind of like another podcast, but
another one.
I mean, and to keep with the time, because you know we can go on forever. I mean, I totally agree with you. I did not learn that choosing peace stuff until I really moved here, because I always thought I was choosing peace with my friends, you know, with my best friends back home. I always thought I was choosing peace because we have a peaceful relationship. And then you come here, and then it's a little different. People see things a little different. Their definition of friendship is a little different, and so they don't always understand, you know, what your views are, and so things kind of get a little misconstrued where your peace, as the peace that you thought you had, is no longer there. And so yes, the best thing is for you just to, we have a saying back home, like, we handle people with a long handle spoon,
right?
And we love them from a distance. I should be the queen of both of them, because I know how to do it well. I don't dislike
Right.
I just have to love you from a distance because
Right.
my peace. I have set my life and myself up with this kind of fortress around myself. Like,
Right.
I love to smile. I love to be happy. Even when I'm sad, people don't even know I'm going through stuff
Right.
because I don't like to burden people. So I like to keep kind of things bottled in and figured out on my own. And I don't want to bring that to other people.
Right.
I want everybody to be happy in my space. And so even when I'm not happy, I still want to make other people happy. And so my peace is, like you said, my peace is everything. And I do my best to work on it because your peace is tied to your mental health.
It is.
So that's kind of where I am with that.
So then next, we want you to get adequate sleep, relax, use your PTO, step away from your job, eliminate stress, enjoy your life, whatever that is for you. Enjoy your life. For me, I traveled and did a lot of things when I was younger, and this is the first time that I've been able to put myself first and do things for me and have time to myself. So for me, this is enjoying life. So whatever that looks like for you, make sure you use your PTO.
Yes.
Step away from that job. Live your life. Put yourself first. Go to your doctor's appointment. Get adequate sleep. Change your attitude. Be thankful in the moments.
Yes.
Every day you should be waking up and thinking of something that you are thankful for.
Yes.
Because complaining leads to stress, and stress leads to health issues and problems.
Problems.
Stop the complaining. Find something to be thankful for. Whatever that is. And if you haven't, you need to log on to Amazon and get my journal. This is my thankfulness journal. It's the Raya's Rays of Light, Ray of Hope, and Thankfulness Journal. And every day you're to go in and write something that you're thankful for because you want to change the way that you think. You don't want to wake up and complain because if you wake up and complain, that's going to set the mood for the rest of your day.
Yes.
So you wake up and be like, oh my God, I hate my life. Your life is going to be horrible that day because you've already set the precedence over your life that you hate your life. Your life sucks. So you're looking for the negative in that day.
Yeah.
So wake up and be thankful. I don't care if it's thank you, God, for waking me up this morning. Thank you that I have a job. Thank you that I got a roof over my head. Thank you that I got food. Thank you that I got a listening voice. Whatever it is, be thankful. And then finally, because we have to wrap up, we want you to say no. Don't be a yes man. You don't always have to say yes to things and people. And just say no. You'll feel so much better about that, especially if you're going to complain about it later. If you're going to complain about it later, just go ahead and say no. Don't say yes and then be like, oh my God, they get on my nerves. But you let them get on your nerves because you said yes when you wanted to say no.
I have to say, I don't mean to cut you off, but I know that's a hard one for a lot of people, saying no. I literally have to sometimes get in the mirror and be like, no.
No.
No. No.
No.
No. Like, I have to rehearse it.
No.
Yeah, like.
Put your back into it. No.
I have to rehearse because it's hard. It was hard for me. I know that is not something that's easy for people to say no because you want to see everybody do well, and if they come into you and they're asking you if you can help them, like your normal response. I know my normal response is to always say yes. What can I do? How can I help you? What you need? But sometimes you do have to just step back and be like, I can't, not today.
Not today.
My mental, my mind, I'm not prepared.
Right.
I'm not in the space.
Right.
I can't. So yes, please learn to say no.
Say no.
And therapy matters.
Yes. Yes.
That is so important.
Say that again.
Therapy matters is so important. And I'm so happy to see people nowadays come into the realization that it's okay to be in therapy. I have to say I was somebody who kind of struggled with it just because of my mentality and like, oh, I'm a happy person. Like I could figure this out and I'm okay. I just have to lay down or I have to do whatever. And I went to a therapist, a psychiatrist who was like, you're probably the happiest, most depressed person I've ever met. And that kind of took me back because I'm like, how can I be both? Like, and you can't.
Right.
And so please, when you are ever feeling that you can't do it on your own and it is okay to feel like that, reach out to somebody who has gone to school, who has the tools, who knows how to get you back on track and get you back in, like my therapist tells me, the driver's seat. She's like, right now you like back passenger. We got to move you up and get you back into your driver's seat. And I'm okay with that because I have come a long way from my trauma last year. So I'm a work in progress, literally, on my mental health every single day. And so please don't be scared to reach out for help and therapy. It's there for you.
Thank you so much. We appreciate you sharing all of your sides of views for that. I am so thankful that we are able to get you through this and get you some coping mechanisms on how to get through life stressors. Thank you so much for tuning in. Don't forget to give us your feedback in the comments. We appreciate you. Have a great evening.
Good night.